Hey guys, I am down in the allotment today and I am super excited because I have just received my chrysanthemum. Yes, let's get these in. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Peggy and I'm coming into my third season of growing a cut flower garden here on my allotment in Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan, which is just south of Tokyo in USDA Zone 9B. Thanks for checking out my channel. Okay, chrysanthemum. Now, I grew chrysanthemum last year and that was the first time I had tried growing it because, to be honest, I never really liked it. The chrysanthemum you see in the shops tends to be in the cheap supermarket bouquets and I don't like the smell. It has, it's kind of like a marigold. It kind of smells a bit like cat pee to me. But I live in Japan, you know, the emperor sits on the chrysanthemum throne, it is the flower of Japan, so I thought, hey, I'm going to try and grow some. But I couldn't really find much in the shops. I was quite late in the season looking for it anyway. But I got what I could find, I put it in, and I liked it more than I thought I would. Now these, behind me, these are the spray types. They come up and they've got small flowers and there's lots of them on one stem. They last a phenomenally long time in the vase. I had two types of white. One was pure white and the other one was white with a slightly more yellow centered. And they were both the kind of curly up petals. They lasted right into the winter time. They were the last thing that I was cutting in the garden. And I decided, actually, I really like them. But this isn't the kind of chrysanthemum I wanted to grow. What I wanted to grow were the big showy flowers, you know, the ones that kind of rival your dahlia. The heirloom varieties. Now, again, this is the flower of Japan, so there are chrysanthemum all over the place, but they're really hard to get. Here they're grown a lot by super enthusiasts and they grow them for competition. And if you come to Japan anytime towards the end of autumn and the beginning of winter, most of the temples around here will have a chrysanthemum show on. And you see these huge big flowers. And that's kind of what they're grown for here. Whereas now I'm seeing more of these heirloom types become popular across Europe and America, and it's the deeper colours, the more kind of spidery ones, all these different types and varieties and different colours that are making absolutely beautiful cut flowers, and that's what I wanted. And it took me a while to find them, but I finally did. And they're here. Yes. Okay, it's pretty clear to see that there's a size discrepancy here. And that's because although I ordered these at the same time, they get sent out as shoots, as little kind of plugs. They're supposed to get sent out in April. Now we're at the very end of April. I received this one, I think probably the last week in March, and it came this size in one of these tiny little pots. And I potted it on because they don't like to have their roots disturbed. I potted it on, and just in the space of a month, it's now this size. These ones I got in the post this morning. So that is why there's a massive discrepancy in them. The annoying thing about this one, or annoying for me, is that I know that chrysanthemum are really easy to take cuttings from. And from this one plant, I could actually take a cut. Maybe there, 1, 2, 3. I could easily take 3 cuttings from this, root them, and have 4 plants growing for me this year. My problem is I don't have space for them at all. I don't really have space for them anyway. I was kind of squeezing them in, and as well as the 4 I ordered, the company has very nicely sent me free ones. In Japanese this says "Service." I ended up with 2 free ones, so I now actually have more than I wanted. Where are they gonna go? So, what did I get? For the kanji readers out there, this one is a Bojo orange spider. Great name, great name. Bojo orange spider is my first one. Then this one was another one that I got free, service, and this is a Izumi go Ichidori yellow firework. Now I'm not keen on the yellow ones, but hey, it's free. Let's get it in the ground and see what it looks like. I'm sure it will really match the colours at the end of autumn anyway. Then my smaller ones, again, this was one of the free ones I got, and this is a yellow Koka Densetsu. This little guy here is a Koka Seiden. That's what he's called. This one is a Cocoa Taisha, orange and red. So this one, the underside of the petals look orange and they kind of curve up, and the inside of them look red. It's really cool. And then finally I got this one, which is an Ibarra purple ball, which I am really excited about. This guy is weird looking, just weird looking, and I can't wait to see what it actually looks like when he comes. But yeah, an Ibarra purple ball. So I finally have the plants that I wanted. I've got some really cool varieties. Now my only problem is, where am I going to put them? So when I call this my wee allotment, I'm not joking, it's wee. It's only 4 meters by 5 meters. So I am on a really tight schedule of when I'm planting things for spring, when I'm getting those things out to get stuff in for summer, and then getting them out and getting stuff in for autumn. Now the problem comes when I start to grow perennials, and these chrysanthemum that I grew last year are perennial, and you can see they're coming back really strong. Now these other ones should be perennial as well, especially in zone 9B. If you're in a colder climate, then when it gets to the end of the season, you probably want to dig these up, put them into a pot and take them somewhere warm to overwinter them, and then take fresh cuttings in the spring when they start to come up. But they should hopefully perennialize here for me, but it means that I can't use the space that they're in for any other crops, because some of these red chrysanthemums are I think I have October, November and December flowering, and the new ones are about the same, kind of September, October, November. So these are going to be in the ground for the whole season, taking up room. So I also like to keep things organized, and in an ideal world this was going to be my perennial row. This is where I have some, what have I got? I've got some allium, I've got some eryngium, I've got my scabious, I've got some echinacea, and then I have my gladiola bulbs, and I have my chrysanthemum. And my plan was that the new chrysanthemum would go in behind this one, and then this row would just be my perennial row. But because I was impatient, I have planted in my poppy and my gladiola here. I thought my poppy would come up much earlier, and they didn't. I also thought they wouldn't be so bushy. They're absolutely massive, and are starting to take over somewhat. And my gladiola are struggling to come through, but I'm hoping that just means I have really nice, big, long gladiola. But it does mean that these need to go in the ground now, and they can't go there. So the original plan is out the window, which means we're moving next door. So this is where I had my straw flower last year, and I've just left them in the ground to keep the roots in. But this is where I had my straw flower, and it's where I was planning on putting my straw flower again. I have started my straw flower seeds, and I wanted them to go in here. But the seeds are only just starting to germinate, and these need to go in the ground now. So I am going to have to switch these out and put my chrysanthemum here, which isn't so bad. I mean, they'll be next to each other. I'll put these chrysanthemum here, and I'll put my straw flower in there when the poppy and the gladiola are done. It also means that these, which get quite big and bushy, will be next to my cosmos, which are also tall and bushy. So it means I can corral everything together, and it's much easier for me to support everything if it's in the same lane. So I am going to get my chrysanthemum in here. First I need to get the straw flower out. Okay, so in Japan they grow these, and usually for one plant you're getting 3 flowers, because they are so strict with how they grow them, and they cut them down and they cut them back, and they basically cut off all the other buds. A bit like when you're growing peony for the first time and you debud them to get the strongest roots. Well, they do the same with these guys. And so when these arrived, they had basically a book that came with them. I think it was about 6 pages long, on how to look after my chrysanthemum to grow the biggest flowers I possibly can. I'm not going to do that. I feel bad. I know that these could be big championship flowers, and part of me wants to do that, you know. I'd quite like to walk up to the temple with my giant flowers going, yeah, I'm going to join the competition. But no, I'm not. So I am not going to be doing that, but I will be feeding them with some of the things that they recommended. So because so many people grow these for specifically to get massive flowers, you do get specific chrysanthemum food in the shops here, and that is what I have got. This is an organic one that I found, and it comes just in little pellets that you can either mix into the soil when you're planting, or you just sprinkle on top of the soil and it plants them. But it's basically an 888 mix. You can see the bottom here. So you've got Chiso 8, Rinsen 8 and Kari 8, which is Chiso nitrogen, potassium and nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium in them. So it's your basic 8-8 mix. But you want to be applying this according to my new book that I have on how to grow my chrysanthemum. I'm going to be putting this on every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to check that. But right now I'm going to be putting a little bit of it in each of the holes that I'm going to plant these in. So these guys, woo, I'm going to fall. These guys will grow quite tall and they will grow big and bushy, hopefully. So I am going to be putting 2 in a row. So I will have 2, 4, 6. Easy. I have chrysanthemum. And there they are, all tucked in. Now, although I'm not going to be cutting these back as hard as recommended to get the biggest flowers, because I want more flowers rather than giant flowers, I am going to be coming back to give these guys a pinch. I don't want to do it now because I don't want to shock them. So I am going to let these guys settle in. I'll let these smaller ones get a bit more height on them. And then I'm going to be coming back to cut them all down, including these branching ones from last year. I will come and cut these back to about 20 centimeters. These don't flower until well late into the season, and I want them to be nice and big and bushy and healthy. So I will come and give them all a really strong cut back and then pinch these new ones down just to make sure that I'm going to get as many flowers as possible off of them. But that's it. I'm officially a chrysanthemum grower. And that is all from me for today. So if you want to follow along and see how these guys do and how many blooms I end up with at the end of the season, then please do hit the subscribe button below. If you want to see what I do with the flowers that I cut, you can look back on everything that I've done for the last 2 seasons, and they are all on my Instagram page, which is From the Witch's Garden, and there is a link to that below here. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!